Welcome back to another video
Another day.
and another country. Today we're cooking Lebanese food.
One of the best in my opinion.
Starting off with breakfast, we're making
Fatted hummus.
fatted hummus. Let's go.
Alright, so I started by soaking the chickpeas overnight, then boiled them in some salted water with a bit of bicarb. In the meantime, I cut some Lebanese bread into squares and toasted them in the oven with some olive oil. While they were baking, I quickly mixed together some yogurt, chickpea water, salt and some tahini to get this nice, lovely consistency. Once the bread was crispy, I laid them at the bottom of my dish and mixed it with a few spoons of the yogurt sauce. I went back to my sauce and grated some garlic in it and started layering the chickpeas and the garlic yogurt on top of that. To finish off, I melted some ghee and fried some pine nuts in it. Once slightly browned, I poured it on top of the dish, and all that was left to do is garnish and taste the food.
Yum. Looks good.
I hope this makes Lebanese people proud. Let's try. Yum.
It's good.
It's not as heavy as you'd think it would be. So good.
It's really light.
Breakfast is finished. Next up is lunch. I just need a little break. Next dish literally translates to upside down or flipped. It's the one and only maqlube. Let's go.
I first started by slicing the eggplant into even slices and salted both sides to extract all the moisture out. I then started dicing some onions and fried them in some ghee, and then added some minced meat. Once it was nicely caramelized, I added a few spoons of the Lebanese 7 spice and fried them for a few more minutes. Onto the rice, I washed and rinsed some jasmine rice and then added the Lebanese 7 spice again with some extra cinnamon and turmeric, mixed it all up and let it sit for about 20 minutes. In the meantime, I started frying my eggplants until they became nice and golden brown. Now it was time to assemble. For the base, I added a nice layer of meat at the bottom of the pot. I then pushed it in and placed my eggplants on the side of the pot. I finally added my spiced rice and water and put it on the stove. Once it was boiling, I brought it down to a simmer until all the rice was cooked. The perfect condiment with this dish is this cucumber yogurt sauce mixed with garlic and dried mint. Adding some water to adjust the consistency, it was ready in no time. Lastly, I just toasted some nuts and then lunch was ready.
There's one last step for this maluba, which is to flip it. Oh my god!
I got it.
Oh my goodness!
Take your
Oh
hand
my god! I'm joking.
What are you doing? Wow, look at that little maqlube.
Oh wow!
Looks good.
Now we'll just grab our nuts and just lay it on top. And some parsley.
Let's try.
Pretty close.
That's really good, you see. The rice perfectly moist, the spices are really there.
Meat, eggplant, nuts, sauce. What else do you want? What are you doing for dessert?
I'm gonna be making znoodsit, which is a pastry filled with a creamy ashta, which is clotted cream. Let's get started. First, I made the ashta since it needs time to cool down before using it. I boiled some milk and cream and curdled it with a bit of vinegar, then strained and set in the fridge for 30 minutes to an hour. Next, I thickened some milk with cornstarch, folded the curds in and set it in the fridge until ready to use. I then had to prepare the sugar syrup, also known as atar. I boiled some sugar and water and added lemon juice to stop it from crystallizing. Once all the sugar was dissolved, I added half a cup of orange blossom water and then it was time to assemble. I grabbed 2 layers of phyllo pastry and put a nice dollop of ashta on the bottom half, then folded it over and folded the sides in twice to prevent any leakage, finished by rolling the rest and sealing with water. It's important to fry these straight away so the pastry doesn't go soggy, and after frying, dunk straight into the syrup and serve with flowers or crushed pistachios. Here's the finished dessert. What do you think?
Okay, looks good. Pretty close, I think. Should we crack into it?
Yeah, let's cut into it.
Okay. It looks pretty good. It's a
Not
lot
bad.
of filling, yeah.
Not bad. Generous.
Cool. Yum.
Really good. Actually, this tastes pretty accurate now.
It's so good.
Quite good.
Last meal of the day, dinner. We don't really know what to make.
We were told a lot of different things from different people
The only description that we got was to keep things light,
and to make a variety of small dishes.
so that's what we're gonna do. We also have a few guest appearances with Lebanese blood coming to try dinner, so pressure is on.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I decided to make some mini manouche with za'atar. So starting with the dough, I mixed flour, water, yeast, sugar, salt and yogurt until a smooth dough formed. Then I let it rise for 1 hour, and after that I portioned them out to smaller balls and rested them in the fridge for another 30 minutes.
I then started on the hummus recipe to have on the side. I blended some garlic with some lemon juice, then added some cooked chickpeas while slowly adding some cold water. Once it was smooth, I added some tahini and some olive oil to make it nice and creamy. Plated it up with some olive oil and some fresh parsley to garnish.
Back to the manouche, I mixed za'atar, which is a herby mixture with sesame seeds and sumac, with some olive oil until pasty. Then I rolled out the dough in some flour and cooked it both in the oven and on a fry pan, depending on preference, but I preferred the pan. We then put the food on the table and called the judges to the panel.
A panel full of Lebanese people. With the Lebanese dinner, let's see what happens.
Alright, so what are your first impressions?
I'm eating.
Alright. Alright. Very good. Let me just, my mouth has to enunciate the flavors a little bit.
My favorite is definitely the Lebanon.
Is this from your cow?
Yeah, Bob.
Time for some final opinions and criticism. Boys.
It was one of the best manouche I've ever had.
Wow.
It was very good compared to a traditional Lebanese manouche that I've had in Lebanon. The dough's a bit different, but it's still very nice.
From what I've had, it tends to be a little bit sweeter and a bit thicker.
Hummus, I'm used to, in terms of texture, a thicker consistency. It's a bit more runny, but the actual flavour of it is beautiful. I think I'll agree with my brothers over here. With the base, I think it needs to be a little bit more fluffy.
Yeah.
Maybe try this one.
What is that?
This is in the oven.
Like baked.
That was on the stove top.
The whole experience, 7.5 out of 10.
It's on the hot.
Try it like that.
Was it nicer?
The dough is a bit thicker with the oven.
And it's not as oily.
The dough on that's different.
That's definitely much closer.
I changed my rating to an 8.
No, this is better.
The oven is better, huh?
I'm gonna go with 8.5.
8.5 out of 10.
8 and 0.7.
Very precise.
Number
Thank you
10.
very much.
Check out the other videos from this series and let us know what you want to see next time.
No, bismillah.
Bye bye.
No, bismillah.